Hi, this is Jeremy Clark, Executive Director of Grace Ministries International. And today we have Jerry and Sandi Bomers and Lily Ortega. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
Doing great. Doing great.
Good to see you, Lily. I don't think I've seen you since you've moved to Nicaragua. So this is good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. At least through videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that I was supposed to go visit with Jerry and Sandi back last month, and it didn't work out. Let's start, Lily. Start with you, and a lot of people don't know you. They may have heard your name because you've been familiar to our missionaries in Bolivia and even in other countries for a long time now. But Lily, maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay, I'm Lily Ortega, my full name. Well, I think I grew up in a Christian family, and I always was involved in ministries and the church, and I think when I grew up, when I went out from high school, my desire for doing missions, God was talking to me in this way, and yeah, I think in 2006 was my one of my first experience in mission to when I traveled to Uruguay, and I was being part of this Teen Street camp, and I think there was God talking very clear that I was that I need to get really involved in this. So since then, I've been doing mission, not only in my church, but I've been part of this Logos Hope for 2 years. And then also I've been training for missions also after that, and trying to get knowledge about not only in Christ, but also get prepared for what God has for me. Then after that, I went to Uruguay to study theology for 3 years. Then after that, after 3 years more, I came to Nicaragua to really work as a full-time missionary.
So Lily, when you were on the ship, the OM ship, how many countries did you visit?
7 or 8, I think. Yeah, 8 countries. Yeah, I've been in the Middle East. Yeah, India, South Asia, and yeah, that part.
No, I know you traveled around quite a bit. Jerry and Sandi, it's good to see you guys. And Sandi, maybe you can introduce us to your family. I know it's grown a little bit since you guys arrived on the field back in 2016.
Yeah, we have 3 kids now. Addison is our oldest, and she's 8 years old. And then we have Clayton, our son, and he's 5.5, he would tell you. And we have our youngest daughter, Cora, who's 2, and lots of mischief.
Yeah, you get some cute kids, that's for sure. Hey, so tell me a little bit. Go ahead, Sandi, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
That's fine. So in Paraguay, I know the situation has been a little bit difficult here in the last couple of months. Tell us what life is like since the government started reacting to this latest coronavirus, and what's the situation there?
Pretty much as soon as the U.S. recognized that they had a serious issue on their hands, I think it was back around March 10th or 11th. As soon as we started seeing it in the news there, the Paraguayan government here said all schools need to be shut down. So then we had a meeting that night. What are we going to do about church? The next day, all churches were shut down. And by that weekend, we were on the full lockdown quarantine kind of thing, like a lot of folks there in the U.S. had, where you only go out for your essential items and stuff like that. So that all came on really quick, even faster than the U.S., though we had less cases. But the reason for that is the medical system here simply can't handle a huge onset of the coronavirus like everyone was fearing. There's talks about ventilators and things like that they would be short on in the U.S. I'd be surprised if there was even 10 here in our city. So
Wow.
Really, it was all being as preventative as possible from the very beginning. And for us, we're still just now coming out of it. They're sending some like construction workers back to work and everything, but we can only go out every other day of the week now based on our license plate number to get those essential food items and stuff. But with that being said, obviously all of our ministries had to stop. We're still doing church on Facebook Live every Sunday. We've had Bible studies in between those times as well as a live type thing on Zoom. The other night we did one. Our national pastor's been doing a good job of putting those on Facebook Live as well. And we've also been able to still do some of our theology courses, handing out the homework, and the kids can, adults can do it and send it back to us, and we can correct it. And that's been going pretty well.
So you guys, under this lockdown though, no one's really been able to leave their homes except for, you say, a couple of times a week, just for groceries and for medical reasons, I suppose. Right.
Yeah. One of the things I was excited about right away, and you know this, Jeremy, is I was wanting to get some serious miles in running.
Sure.
Once this whole thing started up and you can't even leave your yard, they say that that's not okay unless you're walking to the store. You can't be out of your own yard here.
And to date, how many people have died in Paraguay?
It's around 10, maybe a little less, maybe one
of the
more.
Coronavirus.
Today, but last I checked, it was 9.
Now, Lily, in Nicaragua, the situation's been much different. And how is the government there, or how is the country reacted to the coronavirus in Nicaragua?
Well, the political situation here is not really good. I mean, it's what I can see and what people say also. Yeah, the government didn't say anything. I mean, just like not to go out from houses. Every person just take their own, how do you say?
Precautions.
Their own, yeah. So here in Nagarota, people, of course, they are taking care of themselves, but not because of the government. Yeah, they don't. I think like 3 weeks ago, I think the president appears after like 1 month of this COVID, and yeah, it's very not good from their side. And then yeah, it's of course that in our church we are like trying to. I mean, we started again all the ministry this week, but before, yeah, we tried to take care of our people and
Sure.
Always advise them to take care of this virus. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have done the right thing, and you know, you guys have been able to advise the people in your community take care of themselves, and that's healthy, and that's what the body of Christ does. You know, Sandi,
Yeah.
as I think about your 3 little kids there, and they haven't really been able to go many places in a month or so, and how is that? How's your family holding up in that regard?
They're doing pretty good. We homeschool, so that wasn't a big change for them. They're used to doing school at home. We're very thankful for a yard and a trampoline that they can play on. Our son Clay really does love to see his friends and go out. Just likes to go places. So he asks every day if the virus is gone, and he prays every day at lunch and dinner that the virus will go away. So I think he's struggling the most. Addison is really missing her friends at dance class. And Cora gets excited every time somebody is not in their pajamas because she thinks we're going somewhere. So they're holding up, but definitely ready to be seeing their friends again and being outside of their house. So
Yeah, I know that's tough. And I know it's just as tough on mom and dad when they're trying to explain this to their kids all the time and there's no definite end in sight. So yeah, I know it's a struggle as well. Lily, in Nicaragua there, you arrived in January and you came from Bolivia, and you work with Emiliano and Raquel right there in the town of, Nagarote. Now, you knew Raquel from years ago. if I understand correctly. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you met Raquel. That's really a neat story.
Well, that was like 10 years ago when she went for a mission trip to Bolivia. She stayed there for 1 year. And yeah, I think she was one of the person that like kind of pushed me to really get involved in missions. So yeah, we were friends. We were starting to know each other that year in 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we started our friendship, I mean, since then. And yeah, now to work with her, I think alongside with her husband also, it's a good experience. Yeah, because we didn't, I mean, I never thought that probably I would just work with her, you know, years later, and yeah, or what is happening now.
Well, I know she's blessed to have you there in Nicaragua, and we're certainly blessed as an organization to have you, Lily, serving with us. You have so much experience, and you've been involved in so many different kinds of ministries over the years in different places. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what kind of ministries you're doing right there in Nicaragua. I mean, you got there in January, and as soon as you arrived, you jumped right in because you know Spanish, and so you're able to jump right into ministry. Tell us about what you're doing.
Right now, I'm discipleship.
Discipling,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I had 3, but now I have 2. I started teaching guitar, how to play guitar. So in that way, I just try to also teach them the Bible. While we're studying the guitar, we study the Bible. And yeah, so I got a new student, so I'm very happy for that, because all 3 of them, they asked me to teach them guitar. And also the last one, she came to me and said, oh, I want to have a discipleship also. So I was like, oh, that's very nice, because I think, I don't know, God is trying to use me here in this way. So I'm very, not only blessed, but happy for that. And so then I'm trying to lead in the worship band, you say, with one of the youth. And then also the youth ministry, we are leading this. I'm helping him I'm guiding him. Yeah, so teaching also, and sometimes in youth ministry or in the worship band also.
That's been a busy 3 or 4 months, Lily.
Yeah.
Thanks for jumping right in and taking those things on, and we appreciate that. Jerry and Sandi, you know, you guys arrived in Paraguay about 4 years ago, and you really came in and you provided a great compliment to Alex and Delta, who were the only missionaries there at the time. You know, before the coronavirus impacted Paraguay and life there, you know, what was ministry like? And we'll talk about the future in just a moment, but what were you guys doing? What were some of the things that were happening in the ministry? And it was quite exciting. In fact, it still is. And I shouldn't make it sound like ministry stopped and people, you know, just disappeared, because that's not the case. But just tell us about what the ministry was like and where you guys were headed.
Yeah, well, here in South America, we are, of course, we just started into fall. So when everything started up, it was very similar to North America. In the fall, everyone's getting back to their ministries that usually start around the same time as the school year. Summer is coming to an end. So we were really encouraged. We had a great size class for our theology class for our second kind of semester meeting for it. We were teaching 2 classes now, and had really good attendance for that. People excited to be back for that. Kim and Sandi were just starting up an English class as well, English study, that was well attended. Along with that, we were seeing growth on our church Sundays pretty much every week as summer was coming to an end. Obviously, that's a time of lower attendance, and we were seeing a lot more people, which was really good. Once again, we were in the process of transitioning into children's ministry that we were looking at going into one of the orphanages here and actually bringing our own church kids to the orphanage to do the like Awana with the kids there, which we had some of our young adults that were really excited about that we were really looking forward to that week. The week that the news came out, basically, Juan Carlos, the national pastor here, and I were going to go there to chat with them about getting that program started up. Also, the day that they closed all of the schools, Corey Hodgson and I, Corey's the other missionary here, we were going in there to start out hopefully what was going to be some type of a martial arts ministry with a gentleman that we've befriended here who's begun attending our church as well. And unfortunately, with that coming to a close, that no school ministries are going to be happening at that time either. So literally the day before, I was talking to Sandy saying, I don't think we're going to have a night of the week for a few months here. And you know, that was okay with me. I was excited about how things were going, and then everything just came to a halt rather quickly, you know?
Yeah, it is kind of a blessing, even though we hate to admit it sometimes, to have to take a little pause as fathers and husbands, and to be able just to kind of, you know, take it easy and hang out with our family and such. And I guess it's forced upon us, you know, in a lot of ways, and we got to take advantage of those moments. Sandy, I did some English teaching as well when I was in Costa Rica as a missionary. And, you know, how do you know, I always found it difficult to try to figure out how to teach a wide range of students, you know, in terms of their abilities and English knowledge. How are you guys dealing with that? Or how did you guys conduct classes, and what was your philosophy there?
I was nervous about that as well, because we do have a wide variety. Some of the people in our church actually don't need English class. They can speak really well. And just like we take Spanish in high school, they take English in high school. So some of them have really studied hard and know a lot of English. We were really excited to find a program actually that had 6 different books, from very basic learning to more advanced. And it was really cool. Actually, they had a test that we could give to a bunch of different people and see where their levels were. And then from there, Kim and I just graded their tests and decided, well, this person should probably be in this class. This person should be in the more advanced class. And we were able to talk to a couple people who were borderline, and most of them said they'd rather start with more basic things just to reemphasize what they've been learning. So that was something we just had started and we're really excited about, and hoping to continue when we can. So.
Sure. That's a neat ministry, and it's in demand, and there's only very few people that can do it. So that's a great opportunity to take advantage of, and we look forward to when things get back more normal so you can keep pursuing it.
We do too.
Lily, so you're from Bolivia, you're now in Nicaragua, and so a lot of people have the idea that just because you're from Latin America, you speak Spanish, you know, there just aren't that many differences. And it's probably very easy to come from Bolivia and come over here to Nicaragua and just jump right into the culture and everything is the same. But my guess is that's probably not the case. And so maybe, you know, tell us a little bit about some of the differences between culture and Bolivia, even Uruguay, I guess, too, but some of the differences between Latin American cultures and some of the things you've noticed being in Nicaragua.
Yeah, even here, people, they don't know where Bolivia is. Like
Really?
The other day, yeah, really. So I need to say next to Brazil or Argentina, right there in the middle. So,
Not next to Paraguay? You don't say they're next to Paraguay?
Oh yeah, Paraguay also. Yeah, but I think the difference is it can be not only the city, because but here, I mean, especially in Narote, it's very small, right, comparing with my city in Santa Cruz. Yeah, so and the way they speak also, it's very different. I'm trying now, or I'm still learning some words that they have, or even though we speak Spanish, but we have our difference in the way that we speak. So what else? The food also, we have. I mean, it's kind of we have the same things, but they cook different. So, and the taste also, it tastes different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm happy that I still have some things that I could have at home probably. So, then the weather, it's here, I think will never be cold.
No.
So I'm missing some days that are probably cold, but here it's very hot. Then I don't know what else.
Lily, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I've been to Bolivia and I've been to Santa Cruz, where you're from, and I've also been to the Altiplano. I've been to La Paz. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is Nicaragua more different than Santa Cruz, or is La Paz more different than Santa Cruz? Which one is more different and unique, La Paz or Nicaragua, when you compare it to Santa Cruz?
La Paz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
Yeah.
so too. I just wondered because that's your home country, but Bolivia is so interesting. It's so different.
Yeah, it's true. Also, I mean, the way they dress
Mhm.
and some houses also, you can have in the mountains the houses, so it's very different. And it's very cold.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. You can't escape the cold there.
Yeah.
Jerry and Sandy, how have you guys found opportunities to minister and serve during this time where practically the entire country has just been completely locked down and no one can leave their homes? I mean, you talked about doing some internet services and Bible studies, but what are unique opportunities or things that maybe have arisen out of the ordinary that you've been able to engage in to serve?
Many of our folks are without work right now. Ciudad del Este is right on the border with Brazil, so it's all a lot of shopping downtown. Brazilians come across and do their shopping there and buy lots of stuff. And for a lot of our people, that's where they work, and that's closed, and it will be closed for some time still. And even once it does open up, if the border doesn't open, then they'll still be without work because no one will be coming to buy things from Brazil. So with that in mind, basically since the beginning, it's just been, let's just check in with people, see who's in need of things, who doesn't have money right now, and be able to help them out with little food items here and there. There's a Costco style store here that is now putting together like packages of all the essential food items. So that's made it a lot easier now to pick up a couple of those and you can go drop those off to folks from the church who are in need. Even some folks who aren't really a part of our church community, but part of our community, we've been bringing things to as well.
Has that been difficult to do though? I mean, have you had any problems with the police? I mean, are you able to freely drive around the city even though you're delivering food? I mean, how's that work?
Yeah, there was one day in particular, I was at the store and they had eggs, which that's been the difficult thing to find here. It's not a problem with toilet paper in South America. It's actually eggs.
We have the opposite problem.
Yeah.
We have lots of eggs, but no toilet paper.
Since we don't refrigerate eggs here in South America, they're easy to get a whole bunch of and go and distribute. So the store had a bunch of eggs, and I was out delivering them to folks, and I got stopped by the police. And I generally mention to them right away, I'm a missionary, and I get sent on my way. And the police officer wanted to do that. He turned to this lady from the health department or something and said, "Oh, he's a missionary." And she was like, "I don't care. Tell him to turn off his car and get out." And I was like, "Oh no," because I was watching them take the car from a group of people that were ahead of me. Obviously, they're not supposed to be out in a group, so that's the reason why their car was being impounded. And I was like, I was out delivering eggs to people. And she's like, "Well, I don't know that that's true." I said, "Well, I have some of the eggs still here in the car. I was bringing them to people from my church who are without work." And she said, "I can't." I said, "Well, here, I have my receipt." Thankfully, I thought of that quickly. I have my receipt. I have 180 eggs on this receipt. I only have 60 left, and that was 30 minutes ago. So she said, "Okay, well, put on your mask in your car then and go home." Put my mask on in my car, but I guess if that's okay to be able to go home with my car would be a good thing too. So I got one more carton of eggs out to people and went home that day. But yeah, we had another weekend just before Easter where one of our church folks was out delivering stuff and he was getting stopped all the time. And he said, I can't finish delivering these things. So we do have a young man who's a doctor who's allowed to drive who finished delivering those on the Saturday before Easter.
Yeah,
Lily,
go
ahead, Sandy, please.
On WhatsApp. You just send messages, check on people, see how they're doing, let them know we miss them, we're thinking of them. Other than that, there's really not a ton that we can do legally. So.
Have you guys been able to keep unity though in the congregation? Have you guys been able to keep everyone together as far as you can tell, in terms of just people checking in and watching services and participating?
Yeah, it's really encouraging to see how our church folks are coming alongside one another and sending out Bible verses and stuff like that as inspiration for their brothers and sisters in the church. It's been good in some of our conversations with the other folks, hearing how they've talked to our other church members during the week as well, and maybe even received help from them or helped them out themselves. So that's been really good to see.
So Lily, as you think about your ministry and you think about your ministry going forward, and also you think about the ministry of the missionary team there in Nicaragua, what are you all looking forward to doing? What are some of the goals that you have as a team and individually, and what do you look to accomplish here in the next year or two?
Well, we are trying to, the people here in the church, they are trying to, we're trying them to get the leadership from the church. So we're also praying for a pastor or the youth people here. They get more responsibilities for the ministries, and just to be just next to them. And if they have like kind of any doubt, we just guide them. We're trying that they get this leadership from the church. Yeah, but we're trying.
No, I know you are, and you got a lot of people there that are good candidates for that, and hopefully they'll step up. And I also know that your church is stretching itself in that you're even looking to go to Honduras, and you're looking at the possibility of exploring that country.
Yeah. With this situation with the virus, we're waiting for that, but we're still praying for that. To expand our ministries in other countries like Honduras. But also we have the institute, but that we would like people get graduate from this. So we're trying them to go for it.
No, that's great, Lily. And I'm glad you're there to help out with those ministries and help to develop them a bit. I know that Milo and Raquel really, really value you being there and appreciate your leadership and the things you're able to do in terms of serving the Lord. Jerry and Sandy, as you guys start to look past this and this, I guess, momentary pause in the ministry, but it's not really a pause because you're still doing a lot of ministry. What are the things your team is looking forward to doing in the next year or so, the next couple of years, as you look down the road?
One of the other things that we had just gotten started on was a Bible study in our home here in Franco, which is outside of the city of Ciudad del Este, where where our church is located. And one of the things that we're hopefully going to be able to do is open that up as things begin to open in phases. Churches are going to be the last part of that. Right. We're hoping that in that time, hopefully we can get like small group Bible study type things going in several of the homes, including our own, in the area, and then hopefully those can be maintained into the future as well of the ministry. So that'll be opening up kind of a new ministry opportunity that we weren't doing before on a big scale. We had one home Bible study going. We'd love to have some other ones in different neighborhoods because that's our opportunity to reach new people in new areas. The idea isn't only for our church folks to come, but to be inviting people from the area there as well. So with that in mind, here in Franco, it was our plan and still is, Lord willing, we'll see where we are towards the end of this year, is to work towards a second church plant in this area out of our current church plant going on right now in downtown Ciudad del Este. After that, we'd still love to be able to get the children's ministries up and rolling. We were so encouraged to see how excited some of our young adults were, both couples, individuals. They were really excited about getting something like that started. So we'll be looking forward to that. We still have a few young men that we're discipling along in training. One would like to be a missionary, one would like to be a pastor, or two would like to be pastors. But we're working with those two guys still pretty solid, and we look forward to seeing what God has in store for them in this next year as well.
No, thanks for that. Sandi, maybe you can share a little bit. How can we pray for your family and the ministry there?
You can pray for energy with our kids. Obviously, patience as we homeschool
Yes.
and deal with extra stress of just living in a different country. Yesterday I had dinner in the oven and the gas tank ran out, and we waited for an hour and a half for gas. So we had to change our plans and change dinner, and just little things like that just
Sure.
add difficulties to normal everyday life that I think a lot of people in the States don't think about. You can pray that we can start ministry again. We really miss our, it's not just the people we work with, they're our friends. I was having people over for dinner. We had groups coming over, to watch movies that needed to get out of their house and their family life and stuff like that. So you can just pray that we can start ministering in person to people really soon. You can pray that our kids can see their friends again soon. And, just stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. And Lily, I want to ask you the same question. How can we pray for you and the ministry there in Nicaragua?
I think wisdom. I really need wisdom for some probably the decisions in ministries, and for the youth here in Arraigados, that they really take very serious the commitment with the Lord, and for the discipleship that I'm taking with the ladies. I'm really enjoying this because I'm knowing them, and I'm trying to also encourage them with the Bible. So I really like to spend this time with them. So I just pray that God always use me and give me the right words also if I need to say something and these things. And and that God just take care of my life during the situation, the virus thing. So it's.
No, thanks. And we'll be praying for you guys, your family, we'll be praying for all of you guys and your ministries. And I want to tell everyone that's listening that we've got some great missionaries here that you've just heard from, and you've got to hear a little bit more about their ministries and what their life's like. And I want to thank everyone for just supporting them, encouraging them, praying for them, and investing in their lives. So thank you so much for joining us today and just being able to spend some time hearing more about the ministries in Nicaragua and Paraguay. And we'll be doing this again. So thanks for joining us. All right. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Sandi. Thanks, Lily.
Thanks you. God bless you.
God bless you.